Special thanks to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this video possible. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scarto here bringing you another Minecraft World War II BAFTA build tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and doing Heavy Cruiser Chikuma. IJN Chikuma was the second and last vessel in the Tone-Class of heavy cruisers in the Imperial Japanese Navy. The ship was named after the Chikuma River in the Nagano Prefecture of Japan. Entering service in 1939, Chikuma saw battle during World War II in the Pacific. She was scuttled on October 25, 1944 after the Battle of Samar. Chikuma was designed for long-range scouting missions and had a large seaplane capability. She was extensively employed during World War II in conjunction with an aircraft carrier task force or as part of a cruiser squadron with her sister ship Tone. The Tone-Class cruisers were originally envisioned as the 5th and 6th vessels in the Megami class. However, by the time construction began, serious weaknesses in the Megami class hull design had become clear following the 4th Fleet incident in 1935. As Japan no longer was obligated to abide by the limitations of the Washington Naval Treaty, a new design was created and new means of construction were utilized throughout the external dimensions, though the external dimensions were close to the Megami class. The design was quite different, with 4 main battery turrets placed forward of the bridge, its second superfiring over the first, reserving the entire stern area as a large seaplane hangar. Unlike the United States Navy, the Japanese did not have a dual-role attack/scout aircraft. Its reconnaissance units were assigned to the Japanese carriers, and little emphasis was placed on this aspect of carrier warfare. Instead, the Japanese reserved all of their carrier aircraft for attack roles. Reconnaissance was left up to floatplanes carried by cruisers. Chikuma was intended to provide the long-range scout planes needed for their carrier air fleets. So yeah, the Tone-Class here, a very interesting ship here. It's going to be one of your more unique ones with all of its main batteries located in the front of the ship. And then behind that we have a large area of basically seaplane tending. So it's a really interesting ship, really kind of a weird one, and it's very interesting, the Japanese doctrines and how this kind of influenced ship designs and stuff like that. But it should be a cool build and a fun one to add if you are looking for a cool ship to add to your Japanese Navy, especially a pretty cool heavy cruiser. This one here is going to definitely be a nice addition. Before we go ahead and jump into this tutorial, though, I do want to go ahead and give special thanks to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this tutorial possible. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel more you already do, feel free to check my Patreon page. Link is always in my video descriptions, where you can go and put a small amount to the channel every month, and in doing so, earn a viewer request to your choosing. It really helps support the work I do on my channel. It's really greatly appreciated, so definitely feel free to check that out. Again, link will be down in the video description. Without further ado, though, let's go ahead and dive in here and take a look at IJN Chikuma. So going ahead and get started with here, we have obviously the main deck here. It's very interesting. The deck seemed to actually be kind of more of an orangish color as compared to kind of more of the oak colored decks supported by other Japanese ships. That's why we have this orange decking. Technically it was a little bit more darker, but obviously this is the closest kind of shade we have to it. We have the forward batteries located here. So again, you have 1, 2, 3, and then you have 4. So pretty interesting kind of setup here, and these were 20 centimeter guns, so pretty good sized guns there. Then we have the conning tower here in the bridge, so it's located here directly right behind those forward turrets. As we progress further back, we have a lot of the kind of mid-deck detail, a lot of the secondary armaments, anti-aircraft gun positions, the funnel, obviously the mast there for the ship as well, some lifeboats, stuff like that, located all in this mid-deck section. As we continue to approach back, we have our rear mast, and this gets into our seaplane section of the ship. You have a crane here, some seaplane launchers right there, and also some deck space here for housing seaplanes on it as well. So pretty interesting design. I think came out pretty cool, and the seaplanes there really kind of help add on to that fact that this is carrying, a bunch of seaplanes. I believe the Japanese, obviously had different types of seaplanes they used. You can obviously make this bi-wing or bi-wings, or you can obviously leave the mono wing that we have there as well as an option. But overall, really cool looking ship. Again, will make an awesome addition to your fleets, especially if you're building a carrier fleet, as that was kind of what this ship was tasked with most of the time, as being in those carrier fleets. So this definitely is a perfect ship for those situations. Anyways, though, without further ado, let's go ahead and move into the tutorial by beginning with our first layer. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our first layer here, we're going to be going ahead and working on layer number 1. Now, if you're completely new to my path to build tutorials, the way I like to structure the first few layers, so about probably layers 1 through 3, we're going to go ahead and do half on camera, half off. What this means is we're building the center line and the right side. It'll be up to you guys to copy the right side over to the left side. This ship is symmetrical, so whatever we do on one side will be present on the other side. This will be only for the first few layers, and once we start to get into the more complicated sections, like all of our main batteries, our conning tower, our superstructure, all that stuff, we will go ahead and start doing both layers all together, or both sides all together. But for these first few layers, they're pretty straightforward and simple, and we can kind of speed through them real quick by doing them in this type of format. Anyways, though, let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing you want to go ahead and think about is how you want to position this in the water. For many of you, I'm going to imagine that you're going to be placing this in the water. And if that's the case, that's no problem. You do want to make sure you place this layer, though, layer 1, basically a block underneath the water surface. You can see the blue concrete here is representing our top water level, and you can see where the brick top slabs are sitting relative to that. So just make sure that those are correct, and once those are good, you are pretty much good to go. Now we're going to take our brick top slabs and we're going to place down a long row of brick top slabs going all the way down the center line of our ship. This here is going to be a total of 34 brick top slabs. Again, from the front to the last one, 34 brick top slabs in length, going ahead and form up the very bottom center line of our ship. After you have that built, we're going to go ahead and go to the direction you want the stern. So we're going to have the stern of the ship back here. We're going to place down 2 acacia wood trapdoors to the side of the second and third from last brick top slabs. And we're going to go ahead and go forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 brick top slabs forward. We'll go ahead and double check our count here, and it is going to be 25 blocks in length going forward from those acacia wood trapdoors. After you have that all done, that right there is basically it for layer 1. Really simple and probably one of our easiest layers to really do for this build. And again, this is what it's going to look like from a top-down view. Again, you'll take what we did on the right side, flip it over to the left side, and you'll have this from up above. Anyways, though, that is going to conclude everything there is for layer number 1 for the build. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into layer number 2. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our next layer, we'll be going ahead and moving into layer number 2. For layer 2 to begin with, we're going to go ahead and place down a red concrete block on top of this brick top slab up here on our forward side of the ship. So this is side here. We're going to go ahead and place down a brick wall coming off of it. Going back from that red concrete block, we're going to place down a row of red concrete. It's going to run all the way down the length of the ship, and it should be a total of 35 back from that first one. So if we do count our first red concrete block, that's going to be 36 red concrete blocks in total, and it should stick 2 past this brick top slab from the previous layer. After that, we're going to place down 3 more brick top slabs, 2 brick walls, and then an acacia wood trapdoor to go ahead and finish that off. Our next row out to the side here, we're going to go back up to the front. We're going to place down an acacia wood trapdoor to the side of the second block there. And we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 1 and 2 of red stained glass panes, and then a brick wall. We're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30 red concrete blocks back. I'm going to go and double check my count there. And it is going to be 30 blocks back. So 30 blocks back from that brick wall of red concrete. On the very end here, we're going to go ahead and place down a brick upside down stair. We're going to go and then follow this with a lightning rod and then an acacia wood trapdoor. Right here, it kind of depends. I don't believe you can place the skeleton skull underwater. If that's the case, then you can go ahead and substitute that out for a birchwood slab. And again, it's going to be a slab, so not a top slab, but rather just a normal slab on that bottom level. So that's something you can use in substitution of the skeleton skulls. But if you're building this model out of the water, I do like the use of the skeleton skulls a bit more than the slabs. So just keep that in mind when building this section here. And it kind of, again, depends on what version on the slabs are definitely not going to be a problem. As most of this is going to be underwater anyway in that case. But again, the skulls here are going to work the best. After that's done though, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 acacia wood trapdoors here to the side of those 2 walls. After that, going back up to the front, we're going to continue to work our way out to the side here. We're going to go ahead and go back to our 5th red concrete block here on the side. And we're going to place down a red stained glass pane coming off the side of it. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5th one here, red stained glass pane on the side. Then we're going to place down 2 more back, so you have a total of 3 there. We're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 brick walls. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 red stained glass panes back. We're going to go ahead and place down a lightning rod, then an acacia wood fence gate, and then a skeleton skull directly coming off that fence gate. And once you have that all done right there, that is going to complete everything there is there for layer 2. Again, here's an aerial view of what it looks like from a top-down view. With that all complete though, that is going to wrap up everything we have for layer number 2. And with that, let's move on up to layer number 3. Moving into our next layer, we're going ahead and moving into layer number 3. We're going to start off with layer 3 by placing a stone block on top of this brick wall right here. And we're going to go back 1, 2, and 3 more stone blocks back from that. We're going to go and grab our stripped acacia wood, and we're going to go and place down a row of stripped acacia wood blocks here for a total of 12 back from those stone blocks. We're going to then go back to our stone blocks, and this right here is going to be a row of 16 down the center. We're going to go ahead and then place down another row of acacia wood, stripped acacia wood blocks, and this here is going to be a row of 9. After that, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 stone blocks here on the very end. After that's done, we're going to go back up to the front and work our way out to the sides here. We're going to start off with placing down an iron trap door to the side here. Now, if you're on Java, we'll go ahead and type in the command /give appp Minecraft debug _ stick. Press enter will give us this debug stick here. We're going to go and left click this iron trap door until we get selected open false. We'll right click it and it's going to sit like that flush on the side there of the block. One thing to keep in mind though is that if you do not have access to the debug stick, you can very simply either skip this step or place down a birchwood trapdoor. Either one will work in this situation. We're going to go ahead and place down 2 light gray stained glass panes, then an andesite wall, and then a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stone blocks, then 1, 2, 3, 4 acacia wood, or stripped acacia wood, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 stone blocks. Again, I'm going to double check the count here, and it's going to be 16. We're going to go then place down 1, 2, 3, 4 acacia or stripped acacia wood blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stone blocks, an andesite wall, and a light gray stained glass pane. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and then go to the second to last stone block here. We're going to place down a light gray stained glass pane to the side here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, so we have a total of 4 there. We do also want to go ahead and grab ourselves an item frame. And with that, we're going to go ahead and also grab a crossbow. And on the sides here of this wall, we're going to go ahead and place down an item frame and a crossbow in the item frame rotated face downwards for these stern anchors. After that, going forward here from the glass panes, we're going to go ahead and grab our andesite walls. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 blocks going forward. We're going to go ahead and place down a row of 4 of light gray stained glass panes to finish that off. And also here in the front, we're going to go to this glass pane here. We're going to place down an item frame to the side, and just like we did for the back, we're going to place down a crossbow in that item frame facing downwards like that. And after we have that all done right there, that is going to pretty much wrap up what we have here for this layer, and that is going to complete our kind of section there of half on, half off. So basically this is what we should have for the top-down view at this point in time. Now once after this layer is all complete, we will be going ahead and now moving into doing all of our layers all together. So we do have a lot more going on, a lot more detail here, and these next few layers are going to be kind of our longer layers, as we do have a lot of detail to cover for them. Anyways though, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our next layer, layer number 4. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we have layer 4. For layer 4 to start with, we're going to place down a stone slab on top of the stone block here, followed by a skeleton skull coming off of it going forward, and then a end rod on top of that skeleton skull. We're going to go back from the stone slab with another slab like so, then another skeleton skull on the sides of that slab. We then want to place down 2 daylight detectors, turn those to night mode, then a skeleton skull on these glass panes at slight angles like so, and then a skeleton skull that's going to be just straight on like that on both sides. We then want to place down a birchwood fence gate here, open it toward the rear of the ship, stone brick slab, and a stone stair upside down right behind it. To the sides, we're going to place down 2 acacia wood trapdoors on the wall in that stone block. And we then want to go ahead and grab ourselves our acacia wood pressure plates, and we're going to go ahead and build 1, 2, 3, 4 back, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to go ahead and then grab ourselves some andesite walls. We're going to place down 1 and 2 andesite walls like so. We're going to place down another stone upside down stair here, stone brick stair coming off of it, birchwood fence gate coming off this stair, opened up toward it. Now to the sides here, we do want to go ahead and grab some additional blocks. This can be a redstone repeater and a flower pot. We're going to place down a flower pot here to both sides of the stair, and then a redstone repeater with the notches spread apart from each other on both sides of that stone block next to that fence gate. We're going to go ahead and then place down a stone upside down stair right here, so right in front of that fence gate like that, and then a skeleton skull to both sides of that block. We then want to place down a stone brick stair here, and then we're going to place down another birchwood fence gate coming off the front of the stair like that, opened up toward it. And then to the sides here, we're going to place down a lever. and then a redstone repeater with the notches spread apart on both sides like so. We'll then go ahead and take our acacia wood pressure plates, and we're just going to place it down on top of those 2 stone walls. Now right here, it kind of depends on, again, what version of Minecraft you're on. If you're on Java, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 blocks that kind of come off these walls, kind of to an angle to the side. We're going to place down our levers like so, and we're going to go ahead and left click them until we have selected face. And we're going to go then right click these and set these to the floor, and they should be like that. If you do need to rotate them, you do want these facing toward the outside, you can go and left click again to select it facing, and you can actually rotate these around whichever direction you may need to get them to face out to the sides. Now, if you do not have access to a debug stick, you can go ahead and very simply just place down your acacia wood, or 2 acacia wood pressure plates instead. But again, since we're on Java, we'll go ahead and use this technique on both sides of the ship. And really all this is doing here is it's giving us a little bit more, basically a little bit more detail in terms of our anti-aircraft gun positions. After that's all complete though, we're going to go ahead and then place down a stone upside down stair here in the center, and it's going to come right off from that fence gate. And then to the sides of that, we want to go ahead and place down a stone, or an andesite wall, so like that to both sides. We're going to go ahead and take our stone blocks, we're going to place down a row of 3 across, followed by a light gray stained glass pane coming off the side there of those stone blocks. We then want to place down another row of 3 of stone, and then an andesite wall to both ends. We're going to go ahead and do this quite a few times, so we already have our first row done. We're going to go ahead and do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So you're going to go and do 12 more back, or rather 11 more since we already have our first one here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we're going to go and do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And at this point in time, we're going to just fill the whole inside in here with stone. So again, this is just going to be filled in completely, as this is all part of our superstructure section of the build. And we'll bring it back to that point like so. Now once you get to this section, we want to go ahead and then place down a stone block in the center, followed by a gray concrete block to both ends. After we have that done, we're going to go ahead and also place down a stone slab on the side there of those blocks, again facing to the sides. We'll also want to go ahead and grab an item frame, and some black beds, and some birchwood signs. We're going to place down 2 item frames like so, a black bed in the item frames. We want the pillows facing away from each other like so. And if you're on Java, we can go ahead and go the extra step by placing down a row of 2 of birchwood signs. And same thing is just going to be done over here as well. So it's going to be just like that on the sides there. After that, we're going to then take our stone blocks, and we're going to place down a row, or rather, it's going to be, yeah, it's actually going to be a stone block in the center here. Then a gray concrete block to both sides, and then an air stone slab like that to the sides. After that is all done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a light gray stainless pane that's going to be here in the center. So it's going to sit right there. And we then want to go ahead and place down a gray concrete block, again to the sides there. Okay, so one quick modification here is these slabs here are actually going to be full blocks. So we're actually going to go and turn those into a full block there to both sides. And this glass pane is actually going to be a stone full block instead. From this point, we're going to then go back from those gray concrete blocks of our stone, and then we're going to place down our light gray stained glass pane there in the middle. We also want to place down a birchwood sign on the side here of the stone block on both sides. After that, we're going to go then grab a light gray bed. We're going to place down a light gray bed here, and same thing here, like so. And then we want to go ahead and place down a light gray stained glass pane coming off the stone block like that going forward, and then an andesite wall out to the sides here, like so. After that is all complete, we're going to go ahead and place down a redstone repeater directly here in the center, like so. Now at this point, we're going to go and start to get into our deck detailing here on the back. So we're going to go and grab some skeleton skulls, some flower pots, some levers, some dark oak wood sign or fence gates if you do plan on doing the aircraft here. And that really should be about it. Also some acacia wood pressure plates. To get started though, we're going to go back from this repeater with a flower pot. If you are going to add the seaplanes on the back here, so these 2 seaplanes right here, we're going to place down a dark oak wood fence gate to both sides of that flower pot. We're also going to go ahead and place down a skeleton skull on top of that andesite wall. We're going to go ahead and place down a flower pot going back from those skeleton skulls. And we then want to place down a lever here to both sides like that. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and place down a redstone repeater here, separate the notches, and we're going to go ahead and place down a skeleton skull to both sides on top of those stone blocks. We're going to go ahead and place down a lever to both sides, a flower pot in front of the levers, And then we want to go and then place down another flower pot. That's going to be right here, so it's in the middle there, but kind of aft of the levers like so. To both sides of that, we are going to go ahead and place down a dark oak fence gate, as well as a redstone repeater here with the notches spread apart like so, and a lever to both sides with a flower pot in front of it like that. After that's done, we're going to go then also place down an oak, or acacia wood pressure plate there to both sides, a redstone repeater right here with the notches facing backwards, and lastly here on the back we're going to go ahead and just place down a birchwood fence gate. We're going to open this toward the back of the ship and then an end rod on top of it like that for the rear little flag mast. And once we have that all complete there, that's going to wrap up everything we have here for this layer. Again, we'll go ahead and take a little bit of an aerial view at it, and this is what it should look like from the top down view with all that complete. Anyways, again, that right there is going to conclude everything there is for layer 4, probably one of our longer layers. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, layer number 5. Alright guys, so moving into our next layer, we have layer number 5. For layer 5 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a stone brick stair that's going to be on top of this block here, and then a stone stair coming off the back of it like so. We then want to place down a skeleton skull on both sides of the stair. And we then want to go ahead and place down a... actually, just so we don't have to worry about it later, we'll just place down an end rod on top of here, and then a lever on top of this stone stair that's going to be aimed toward that lever, or that end rod like that. So that'll just finish that stair off. We're also going to go ahead and place down a birchwood fence gate that is going to be on the front here of the stair. And we're going to have that opened up toward the stair itself. After that's all done, we also want to go ahead and grab some stone buttons, and we're going to place down stone buttons here on top of these two rear turrets, like so. Go ahead and continue on, we're going to place down a stone, or a lever here on top of the stone upside down stair, as well as a stone brick slab that's going to be on top of these walls here. We're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, or rather actually, sorry, 1 and 2 stone blocks down the center here. And we're going to go ahead and place down 2 light gray stainless panes to the sides there. We then want to go ahead and do the same thing we've done previously, and this can be using a debug stick here, and for Java players, we're going to place down a lever here on the side of this. We're going to place down a block here to the side of the stone brick slabs, and then a lever coming off it like that. We're going to go left click again until we get selected face. We're going to go ahead and set that to floor, and we can go ahead and then rotate these so that they are facing toward the outsides. So we're just going to go ahead and rotate that so it's facing toward the outside, and just like that on both sides there for that anti-aircraft gun. Unfortunately, there is, again, not an alternative there if you are on a different version other than Java. We're going to go ahead and then place down a lever, or rather an end rod here on top of these two walls. In the center here, we want to go ahead and place down a stone slab, and then a skeleton skull to both sides of that stone slab. We're going to go ahead and then place down a row of 1, 2, 3 stone full blocks. Going back and just want to double check here, make sure I'm doing that right, and it should just be 3. And then we're going to go ahead and follow this up with a andesite wall to both sides, and then 2 light gray stainless panes going back like so. Our next section here is going to be we're going to skip this space, and we're going to go ahead and then place down an andesite wall. And after that andesite wall, we're going to go ahead and skip another space, and we're going to place down a stone block with a skeleton skull on the side of that block. Now to the sides here, we do have a bit of stuff we're going to add on to the sides. This is going to be first a white bed that's going to be in this section here. So that's going to be on both sides there. We then also want to go ahead and place down a stone brick stair. That's going to be on the side of this space here. And then we're going to have a fence gate coming off of it like so out to the side. And then behind that, we're going to go ahead and place down a birchwood fence gate again. So we're going to have a fence gate here and have that opened up toward the back. Same thing we'll be doing over here on this side as well. So it's going to look just like that there. After that's done, we're also going to place down a scaffolding block. That's going to be right here on both sides of this andesite wall. And then we want to place down a stone block. After that, those scaffolding blocks. We're going to go then place down a what is going to be a spruce wood slab like this to both sides, and then a stone brick stair coming off that spruce wood slab with a birchwood fence gate like this to make our last set of secondary gun batteries. We also want to go and grab some stone pressure plates, and we're just going to place down a pressure plate on top of this wall here, and these two just like that to go ahead and form up your deck there. And obviously we'll do the same thing over here on this side as well. After that is all complete, we want to go ahead and then place down a stone block here in the center again, and then we're going to go ahead and then place down a stripped spruce wood block again to both sides there. We're going to go ahead and then place down a spruce wood slab going back, and in the middle here we're going to place down a stone brick stair. So again, a stone brick stair here in the middle. After that is done, we're going to then place down an anvil in the center, and it's going to have a stone brick upside down stair coming off both sides there of that anvil. And then after we have that done, we're going to grab our rails and our dark oak fence gates. We're going to place down a rail here, and again, if you are building the seaplanes, so if you want to build these seaplanes here, we will place down a dark oak fence gate here, and then 2 more rails back. Same thing will be done over here on this side as well. In the center space there, we're just going to go ahead and grab our light gray carpet, and we're just going to place down a row of 3. And to the sides here, we're going to go ahead and build our catapults. This is going to be done by going ahead and going to this andesite wall here. We're going to place down a row of 4 of these acacia wood, or these daylight detectors, and we're going to go ahead and turn them to the night mode, so that bluish gray color is what we are going for. And then we can also go ahead and grab a dark oak fence gate and place it on the other side of the daylight detector, opposite from that one we placed on the inside there for our pontoons there for our seaplane. Now we're also going to go ahead and grab a light gray carpet, and we're going to place it down on top of those beds right there, and that right there will kind of complete this launching deck area there for the ship. One thing also is going to be a stone brick top slab that will be coming off of this anvil. So we will go ahead and place down the anvil here in the center, and we do want to delete that one carpet, and we're going to have a stone brick slab coming off of that, so it will look basically just like that there for the start of our crane. And after that's all done, moving back to this section here, we pretty much just have our seaplanes to add on here. So for the seaplanes, we're just going to go ahead and grab some dark prismarine, some zombie heads, and some green carpet. And pretty simple, we're going to place down a dark prismarine slab here, then a dark prismarine stair, a zombie head going forward, and a green carpet to both sides here of that slab. Depending on the time of the war also, you can go ahead and make this a biplane by going ahead and placing down another row of green carpet across the top there as well. That is something you can also do there. Biplane reconnaissance aircraft were very common for the Japanese as well, though I do think they did have some monoplanes, especially later on in the war. And we're just going to go and do the same thing here, so right between these fence gates on top of that flower pot, just an air slab, then a stair on top of the repeater. So like this, zombie head, and then again our green carpet to both sides, and again we can make this a biplane by putting those on top there. And with that all complete, that right there is going to pretty much wrap up what we have there for this layer, just try to make sure we're not missing anything, and everything does appear to be good to go. So we're going to go ahead and call this good for this layer. And at this point in time, we'll be going ahead and moving on up to our next layer, which will be layer number 6, and we will continue to build up mainly the superstructure and all that stuff. So with that, let's move on to layer number 6. Moving into our next layer, we have layer number 6. For layer 6 to get started with here, we're going to go ahead and go to our conning tower here. We're going to place down a stone block on top of this and a birchwood fence gate coming off of it. We're going to go ahead and place down an air stone block back. This is going to be followed with a andesite wall to the side here of this first block, and then we're going to go ahead and place down a stone brick stair after that. We then want to place down a piston that's going to be on top of these end rods, like so. And if you're on Java, we're going to go ahead and then take our debug stick, and we're just going to go ahead and right click them. Basically, you can go ahead and substitute this by using either some sort of slab or something, or you can just place down a skeleton skull on top of that end rod or something. Again, you can mess around with that and figure out something that works there, but that's going to be your best bet there for those rangefinders. After that, though, we're going to place down an air stone brick stair here on the back, a birchwood fence gate here on both sides of the stair, and after we have that all done there, we're going to place down an air birchwood fence post like that, a stone slab, a stone full block, and then we want to go ahead and then place down a stone upside down stair right behind this block. After that, we want to go ahead and then place down a iron trap door. So we're going to place down an iron trap door here to both sides of the stair, followed by an item frame and a snowball in the item frame. Same thing will be done over here as well, like so. We then want to place down a stone block on top of this wall here. And then after we have that all done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a lever on top of these 2 stone blocks. If you're on Java, we'll also place down an item frame here to kind of help create a little bit more of a defensive type position, or like little walls, or like, you know, something of that kind of sort there is what we're trying to go for. After that, though, we're going to go ahead and then place down a piston that's going to be right here, and just so we don't have to worry about it later, we're going to place down a skeleton skull on top of that piston, and then a stone brick stair directly behind it like so. We then want to go ahead and take our debug stick here, and we're just going to go ahead and right click our piston, and it'll get rid of that wood portion, and now we'll create that design that looks like that there. After that, we're going to place down another lever here on top of these on top of those stripped oak or dark oak wood blocks, and then, or actually those are spruce, so stripped spruce wood, and we're going to do the same thing with the item frame if applicable. We then want to go ahead and place down a skeleton skull on top of these 2 slabs there, as well as a birchwood fence gate on top of the stair here, and it's going to be opened up toward that stair like that. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and do the same technique for our levers. We're going to place down a lever here on both sides and another item frame like that, basically underneath those levers. We then want to go ahead and place down an andesite wall on top of this anvil here. And we're going to then go from the stone brick slab up with an air slab and an air top slab. So it's going to look basically just like that. After we have that done there, we have our C-planes here again that are going to come into effect. So we'll go ahead and build that real quick. Slab here, prismarine, and then we're going to go ahead and then place down our zombie head forward and our green carpets, again, however configuration you want it. And just make sure you close these fence gates because they may open with the block being updated or put above the daily detectors. So just make sure that if those fence gates do open up that you do close them. As it's not a big major detail breaker, but it just doesn't look that great. So it looks a lot better when we have it set up like so. Anyways, though, with that all done, the last thing we need to do here is to go ahead and grab ourselves a chain. And we're just going to place down a chain that's going to be kind of forward from this stone brick slab like so. And just so we don't have to worry about it later, we're just going to place down a stone brick slab on top of that chain as well to go ahead and complete that design there for that crane. Anyways, though, that is going to basically wrap up everything we have there for layer number 6. And with that, we'll go ahead and probably move into our last final layers of the build and just go ahead and knock everything out. Alright guys, so we're actually going to go ahead and just jump into layer 7. I feel like if we did all the layers that we still have left, it would kind of be a little bit longer of a section. So we're going to go ahead and kind of split it up again and just do layer 7. We still have a lot of detail going on, but this is going to start off with a stone block on top of this spot here. And we then want to go ahead and place down an andesite wall coming off that stone block. At this point, though, we do have another feature that's going to be mainly for Java users only. And this is going to be a block that's going to be built out to the sides here from the wall about a space. So it's going to be like that. We're going to go then place down a tripwire hook on the side of those blocks, and then we're going to left click the tripwire hook until we get selected facing. And then we're going to right click it and rotate it around so that it connects up to our wall like that for the front there. After that is all done, we're going to go then grab a skeleton skull, and we're going to place it down at a slight angle here on, or about a 45-degree angle on top of that wall. And then another skeleton skull that's going to be angled. Actually, we want this a little bit slighter, so it's going to be like that there. So not quite a 45. And then this skeleton skull here is going to be a 45. So it's going to be a 45 there on those stone brick stairs, like that. After that's done, we're going to then place down our andesite wall here. And we then want to place down a iron trapdoor on top of this space, and then one more trapdoor out to the sides. We're going to go and then place down an item frame and a snowball in the item frame there for these spotlights. So like so. We're going to go and then place down a was going to be a piston here, or rather an anvil on top of this wall right, or that fence post there. And we then want to go ahead and place down a birchwood fence gate coming off that anvil like so. Also, from the previous layer, I did forget to mention that we do want to place down a fence post on top of these two light gray stained glass panes. And we're going to go ahead and place down a skeleton skull on the side there of those fence gates like that. After that's done, we're going to go ahead and place down a light gray stained glass pane here, and then we're going to place down 2 stone blocks back from that, as well as another light gray stained glass pane. It's going to be right here on the end. After that, we're going to then go back here to our rear. We're going to place down an andesite wall on top of this one, and then a stone brick stair coming off that wall like that, going toward the, or basically facing toward the front. We're going to then go back from this wall with 1, 2, 3 barrier blocks, and we're going to take our stone buttons and we're going to place down stone buttons on the side of the barrier blocks. These ones here, if you do have the bi-wing or the biplanes, you won't be able to fit you won't fit the buttons there in the middle. But if you don't have the biplane design here, you can place down those buttons going all the way across there like that. Anyways, though, that right there is going to complete what we have there for layer 7. And at this point in time, we will now be moving into our final layers of our build and going ahead and wrapping everything up and completing it. So with that, that's going to complete what we have there for layer 7, and with that, we're moving into layer 8. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our next layer, we'll be going ahead and moving into layer number, or layers 8 through about 15. So let's go ahead and get started here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to place down a smoker on top of this stone block. So it's going to be right here. And then we're going to go then place down an item frame on the sides of the shulker box, or rather the smoker, and we're going to place down black beds in those item frames like so, and then we're going to place down a birchwood sign on the side here. For Java players can place down signs and item frames in the same block space, so that is a feature that will be again for Java players. and you'll just place down the item frames if you're on a different version. We're going to go then place down a stone block back, followed by a skeleton skull to both sides, a skeleton skull in the center, and then again a skeleton skull on both sides of that skeleton skull. On the top here, we're going to go ahead and place down a piston. This can be substituted out for a stone brick slab. And we're going to go ahead and then go to the piston, and we want to go ahead and grab our debug stick here again. And we're just going to go ahead and, actually, we're not going to touch that just yet. Before we go ahead and use our debug stick, we do want to place down an end rod to both sides. And we're also going to place down a lever on the back here as well. And then we're just going to go ahead and right-click it there with our debug stick to go ahead and set it like so. Then on top of that lever, we're going to place down a skeleton skull. And we also want to go ahead and place down a light gray carpet on top of the smoker, like so, and this will cause the piston to revert, so just replace your lever and go ahead and right click that piston again. Going ahead and continue on, we're going to place down another andesite wall on top of this block here, or on top of that anvil. Then on top of that, we want to go ahead and place down a cobweb. So we're going to go ahead and place down a cobweb here. Going up from the cobweb, we're going to place down another wall, and we then want to place down 2 end rods out to the side, so 1, 2, and over here, same thing, 1, 2. We're going to go ahead and then place down a chain that's going to go up from those end rods like so. And then behind here, depending on your version, we can either place down a skeleton skull or a lever. And again, we'll use the same technique we've been doing for our debug stick. We'll place down a lever like this, and we're just going to go ahead and debug stick it and rotate it to connect up to that cobweb. Going up from that, we're going to place down a row of end rods, so 1, 2. Going up, and then a iron bar here on the very top. So it's going to look just like that. After that is all done, we're going to go ahead and then grab ourselves our barrier blocks and some stone buttons that we used previously. We're going to go ahead and start off by going ahead and placing down a barrier block coming off this end rod, or rather the iron bar. Then we're going to place down a second block forward. We're going to go ahead and drop down and go 2 blocks forward. We're going to drop down another block, and we're going to go ahead and go 2 blocks forward. And we're going to go and keep repeating this pattern of dropping down a block and basically going forward 2, and all the way until we connect up to our end rod or get to this point right here. So if we take a step back, this right here is what our line should look like here. After we have that done, we're going to place down a stone button on both sides of the first one, stone button on top here, and stone buttons on the sides there, and it's going to be kind of this alternating pattern that's going to work its way all the way up. So it's, again, just kind of going up like so. And it's that same alternating pattern, which is super nice. Makes it real easy for us to replicate. And like that, and it will connect up there to the top there of the ship. Now at this point, we want to go and then grab our barrier blocks, and we're going to go and place down a row of 2. So we're going to place down 1, 2 here, 1, 2, and then we want to go and then go 1 and 1 down. We're going to place down stone buttons on the side of these barrier blocks here, on this side here, then 2, then 1 like that, and another one that's going to come off this one going down. So it's going to be kind of this rigging here for the mast. And same thing over here, we're going to have our 2, 2, 1, 1, and then our 2 buttons, and then our 3, like so. So it's going to look like that there for our cabling. After we have that done, we want to go ahead and then place down a skeleton skull also on this wall here. I did forget to do that, so just go and throw that on. We then want to place down a piston here on top of this block, and then going back from the piston, we're going to go ahead and place down a polished blackstone slab, and then a wither skeleton skull on top of that glass pane like that. And we'll right click our piston to kind of make it look like this, and instead of the piston here, again, you could just use a polished blackstone full block or something of that nature. Going ahead and continuing back, we have our rear mast now. This is going to be done by placing down a birchwood fence post on top of this block here, and they're going to place down a fence gate like this coming off of it. We then want to go ahead and place down another fence post going up, and then we're going to place down a fence gate again on top of this here, and another fence post like that. Now, coming off this top fence post, we're going to place down a birchwood trapdoor, and we're going to go ahead and have it connect up to that fence post like that, and to both sides of that fence post with the trapdoor, we're going to go ahead and place down an end rod to both sides. We're going to then go up 2 more end rods. On the top end rod, we're going to go ahead and then go out to the side here with a end rod to both sides. It's taking a second here to load, and there it is. So it'll look like that. And then on top here, we want to place down an iron bar. Now after we have that done, we want to go ahead and then grab our barrier blocks, and we have a lot of cabling to do. So for our cabling, we're going to go ahead and start off by going ahead and place down a row of 4 going forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 going forward from the bottom one. We're going to place down 3 stone buttons here on top of these first 3, and then 4 stone buttons along the side of the last 4. So just like that. We're then taking our barrier blocks. We're going to go ahead and then place down 3 barrier blocks going forward from that end rod there. We then want to go and drop down to 1, so directly down, and then we're going to go and go 1 and out to the side here. So it'll look like that right there. And then we're going to go and go from this barrier block 1 and 2 more, so you have a row of 3. And we then want to drop down again, and we're going to place down a barrier block like so. And actually, sorry, this is not going to be 3, it's going to be 2, so we're going to break 1 less, and we're just going to build another one onto there. So you have a 2, 2, then it kind of angles in, 1, and then 3. After we have that all done, we want to go ahead and grab our buttons, and we're going to place down buttons here on the side. So 3 buttons here, stone button on top, on the side, or rather here we're actually going to go ahead and do a button on this side here, and then we're going to go to the inside and place down 2 stone buttons. And then we just want to go ahead and place down 2 stone buttons there on the top there. So it's going to kind of create a shape like that, and this here we'll actually go ahead and change. We'll place down 2 stone buttons there on the bottom like that, so it kind of creates a nice transition a little bit better. And we're just going to go and do the same thing on the other side here. So I'm going to go and build this a little bit quicker. So it's going to be like this, out to the side here, like that, drop down again, and then we have our 2. And again, our stone buttons on the sides here, and then it's going to be the 2 on the bottom, 1 on the side, and we do want to alter this a little bit here. We're going to shift these buttons inwards, like so. And that'll basically be that cabling. And some of the last cabling we need to do here is going to be basically a row going up. So it's going to go up from the stair here. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then it's going to go ahead and actually we'll just go ahead and go 5 here, and it's just going to be buttons here on the sides. So it's just going to go up like that, and same thing like so. After that is done, we then also want to go ahead and place down an end rod. It's going to go back from this fence post here, a barrier block on top of this, and then we're going to place down a stone button on both sides of that barrier block. We can also place down a barrier block underneath this end rod here, and if you do want to put the Japanese flag on the side of that barrier block, you are more than welcome to as well. In this tutorial, I will not be showing you guys how to make that flag, but it's pretty straightforward and pretty easy to do. So again, that is something you can do for that flag there. Continuing on though, on the back we have our last set of cabling here, and this is just going to be this line that's going to go down, and it's going to be kind of an alternating pattern here of starting off this iron bar. It's going to be 1 block, it's going to drop down 2 blocks, then it's going to be 1 block, then 2 blocks, 1 block, 2 blocks, 1 block, and then 2 blocks, and then 1 block like that, and it should connect up to our end rod. We're going to go ahead and place down a button here on top, side, and then side here, or rather, yeah, should actually be side here. So side here, side, top, side, side, top, side, side, top, and then we're going to then place down side like that. And over here on this side, we're just going to go ahead and place down a second button on the side there of the buttons that are on the side of the barrier block. So just like that going up. And once you have that all done, that's going to basically complete our rigging. And with that, that's going to complete our last final layers here for the build. And with that, that will complete our IJN Chikuma, which is a Tone-Class heavy cruiser. Hope you guys do enjoy this tutorial and are able to put it to good use. If you do end up using this build, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for it. This will be anything from a side of the build, link to my channel or this video if this does appear on your social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for it, you're free user for a project you guys are working on. Overall, enjoy the build, have fun with it, all that fun stuff. With that, again, a big special thanks to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this tutorial possible, and as always, feel free to check my Patreon page. Link is down in my video description. With that, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Garrett2x4, and I'll see you guys next time.